Okay, so the laws, okay. So these works here, so we're going to go over here, okay? Okay, so over here, these works that justifies us is whenever we keep the laws of faith, which are the commandments of Jesus, and the commandments of Jesus is the Father's will. When we keep the laws of faith, we're doing the Father's will. Remember, not everyone who says they believe, calling him Lord, Lord, will be saved, but the ones who actually do it by doing the Father's will, by keeping the laws of faith. That's the faith that justifies us. Okay, and but on the so when James over here talks about works, James is talking about the laws of faith. Whatever work of keeping the laws of faith, that's the works James is talking about. James is not talking about the laws of works. He's talking about the laws of faith. Paul, on the other hand, okay, over here, anytime Paul talks about works, Paul is talking about keeping the laws of works. It does not justify us, such as circumcision. And the laws of works are the Old Testament laws. They do not justify us, okay? So when Paul talks about works, what he's not talking about is the works we put into keeping the laws of faith, okay? So when Paul says faith, he's always referring to the laws of faith. And when Paul says works, he's always referring to the laws of works, not the laws of faith. James, on the other hand, whenever James talks about works, he's just talking about whatever work you got to do the Father's will, which is the laws of faith. And just to verify from Paul himself, Paul is talking about two works, the laws of works and the laws of faith. And the one work that prevents us, the one law that prevents us from boasting is the same thing that justifies us. So in other words, by what law prevents us from boasting, okay? Is it the laws of works? No, the laws of works, Old Testament, does not prevent us from boasting, therefore it does not justify, okay? But by the laws of faith prevents us from boasting, therefore the laws of faith justifies us when we keep them. So because the laws of faith prevents us from boasting and justifies us, Paul comes to conclude in verse 27, therefore we conclude that a man is justified by faith, not faith alone, but we're justified by keeping the laws of faith. That's the faith that justifies us, not by faith alone, apart from the deeds of the law. So the deeds of the law, meaning the laws of works, such as circumcision, does not justify. So in other words, to keep it simple, the laws of works, Old Testament laws such as circumcision, does not justify at all. Okay, but keeping the laws of faith, New Testament, the commandments of Jesus, which is the Father's will, the laws of faith is what justifies us, not by faith alone. So in other words, that's how Paul comes to the conclusion. So with that being said, we can now move on. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so we're going to go back to the Abraham story, and we're going to go over here into Romans on the Paul's side. Remember, when Paul talks about works, he's talking about the laws of works, not justifiable. And when he says the word faith, he's referring to the laws of faith that does justify. So let's continue. So in Romans